Hey, we're live. Hey, everyone. We're super live. Welcome, everyone, back to Tips Over Tea. This episode is a little bit different, and we'll be doing more of these, just having conversations around challenges that people deal with. Today, we're going to be talking about worthiness. It shows up. It's very sneaky when people feel unworthy. So I want to introduce you to Robin. She's freaking amazing, and I love talking to her, and she's just going to make this conversation even more valuable for you all. Robin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And the feeling's mutual, my darling. I love having conversations with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's dive right into it because you know how 30 minutes just flies by, especially when we're conversing. um, so I wanted to talk about worthiness because in the clubhouse room the other day we were talking a little bit about it, and I'm like, you know what, we probably need to have a deeper conversation on this. Um, Sometimes mainly because it's so sneaky to me, in my opinion. Like,
Mhm.
it'll show up in ways, it'll trigger a response in you that, not you, just you, but in
Yeah, yeah.
general, it can trigger a response that you wouldn't expect to happen. Like, for me personally, and I was sharing this a little bit with you, like, when I started to make passive income, I actually got sad at first instead of happy. And I'm like, that's odd. So I don't if you have you ever experienced something like that? Or I know you have clients as well. How have you seen unworthiness kind of show up in some of their actions or language or attitude or anything like that?
You know what's beautiful when you share that you felt sad instead of happy? Like, I think about, like, I know when I was growing up, it was money doesn't grow on trees and money is the root of all evil. And we have this perception of the way that people are who make money. So that's what brought it up with me when you shared that. And it was like,
Mhm.
it's so beautiful to be able to, like, for me, money now is just another energetic form in this beautiful world, and
Mhm.
I had to lose money, and I had to, because I went through life, I have two boys, so I'd always buy for them, and I'd
Mhm.
always like, oh, to my husband, you should get that, or you should get that, you should get that, and never ever get anything for myself. And it was
Mhm.
like, and feel guilty. Like, I remember one time there was this cute tank top and it was on sale for $12.99. But did I get it? No, because something inside me was not worthy of having that.
Mm.
Where I spend every day taking care of the family, taking them to school, getting supper ready, cleaning the house. That's worthiness. Like,
Mhm.
but then again, that goes back to a situation in my mind that I had, that if I do something, then I can gift myself. Or if
Mhm.
I succeed at something, then I'm worthy to have something, right?
Mhm.
Like, I think of, like, even going back to when, like, I know you have puppy child, but when my
Mhm.
children were young, and it was about, everybody was doing if they do a certain thing, they get a sticker or they get a
Mhm.
star, like on the fridge. And I was thinking, why do they have to do something to get a star or to get a
Mhm.
compliment or to get praise? Why can't we just praise them and show them that they are worthy no matter what?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of where since we had this conversation about having this call, I was like, whoa, seeing all these things pop up. And I think, like, now it's, you're uniquely you. You are
Mhm.
worth all greatness. And
Mhm.
I'm continuing to work on that every day about myself.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting that you brought that up. And just wanted to say, anyone who is watching live, if you have any comments, feel free to put it in the chat box. We can definitely respond to it. But things are learned, right? Things like that are
Mm.
learned. You're not born with that concept.
No.
Like, I have my niece, she just turned a year this past week. When you look at babies, like, there is nothing in them that stops them from doing anything, because, like, the unworthiness is not, it's not innate.
Yeah.
So when you talk about getting something for something, that conditional love, reading a book right now, Positive Intelligence Quotient. It's a really interesting book, really good. I recommend it. But he talks about, even sometimes the parental relationship, the love is conditional or it feels conditional.
Mhm.
Even if the parents don't intend to make it a conditional thing, because you like, I want my kids to behave, so let me reward them for behaving, you
Yeah,
know. But in a child's mind, they're like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to be loved. And so with those reward systems, it can create that sense of unworthiness too, like
absolutely.
subconsciously. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what came up when you said that.
Yeah. Even the word unconditional love.
Hmm.
I don't even like that word because then that would mean there's conditions, right? Like it's
True.
so, yeah, it's so beautiful because it literally took me back through growing up and the things, be good in school. And if you get good grades, then you get this. And if you do this, then you get this. And it's like,
Mhm.
wow. What and exactly what you said. It is literally programmed to us from after we're born and when we come, because like that baby niece of yours, she's beautiful and perfect and
She is.
fearless
She
and
is.
just loves everything about her. Right?
Mhm.
Like, if
Mhm.
only it could stay that way. Let's hope
Mhm.
it stays that way instead of getting these limitations and these expectations and these things from all outer influences, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, the challenge is that, like, literally the school system is set up that way too, so
mhm.
it's just how can you help your child, like, overcome that or see through that or not let that be a condition for them to, like, really focus on, so I love that you
Right.
brought that up.
Yeah. Love it. Now I
Yeah.
just want to be a teacher. Yeah. No, I don't.
We just help the adults.
Yeah.
Help the little ones.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen it also show up in relationships, right?
Mm,
And you kind of mentioned like putting your family first and things like that, but seeing it in relationships where people stay with someone
mm,
because they're worried or they don't feel like anybody else would love them at all. You
mhm.
know, it's like, what how can we get through that? What are some things that you've I'm not saying that you dealt with that one, you mentioned it, but like what are some of the things that you've done to like get through starting to feel worthy? Not because I you've been married for a long time, so
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
you guys are so cute. Um, but have you ever been in a relationship that you were like, I know I should not be with this person, but there was a fear of leaving because you were not sure that you don't know what else, like if there was anything else better or, you know.
Right, right, right. I think like it's beautiful because back then I did put my kids first and put my husband, put everything first before me. So if
Mhm,
I could give one tip for anyone that's in a relationship or has children, you put yourself first.
mhm.
Yourself. It's not selfless. It's no, what's the word?
Not
Selfless.
selfish.
It's not selfish, it's selfless. You have to put yourself first, then you put your significant other, then you put your children. Like a lot of people always put their kids first. My kids come first. My kids, no, especially when you're in a relationship with a significant other, because that just shows that they're first, right?
Mhm,
So I think one of the greatest gifts that Cam and I have given our boys is to show each other how we love each other,
mhm,
show how we communicate with each other. And it wasn't always like that, of course, because he pulled out all my insecurities, all my fears, all my everything. That's what you're in this relationship for. That's what you pick each other for, right? Is
mhm,
to grow within yourself and to grow together.
mhm,
So, and I've seen a few different relationships too that, they're those people that, well, we'll just stay together for the kids.
mhm,
Please don't, because everything is energetic, and especially young kids. Like I just seen so many of them, like as soon as they turn 18, then they split and part ways. And the kids are like, I wish you would have done that when I was 5, or I wish you would have done that earlier, because they feel it,
mhm.
right? It's all
Yeah.
emotion, it's all energy. So I think it's most important to take time for yourself.
Mhm,
Find what brings you joy, right? Find what makes you happy, because I think lots of times people put what they want aside to appease the other person in their life, especially in
mhm.
a relationship.
Yeah.
But you're only alone if you don't like the person you're alone with. And that's, you come alone and you leave alone. So build this up, fill yourself with love, love yourself, because internally we know that when you love yourself internally, externally, that's what you're going to attract. So
Mhm.
it's about building up your own worth,
Yeah.
right? People seek externally for everything when there's always three fingers pointing back. It's internal. You have to do it inside,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know if that answered that, but all my little tangents.
Yeah, no worries. We do it.
Yeah.
Um, I would say personally, I had been in relationships that is like, I don't know if it was a feeling of I don't think anybody else would love me. It was more of it's probably a topic for another show, but perception. Like people
Mm.
expect this, or this is the version of me that people have always seen show up, and if I do anything different, what would happen? Like what type of thoughts or conversations would I have to have? But that's like a whole other conversation.
Right? I know
That'll be
you
another
that just got me
episode.
thinking of all the different masks we wear,
Mhm,
right? Like instead of just ripping up all the masks and being yourself, your
mhm.
authentic self,
Yeah,
because really what other people think of you is none of your business.
yeah,
But also when you hold yourself back or when you don't be you, those are also good mirror images of the things that the fear and what the uncomfort and those things that you need to work on. So that's
mhm,
beautiful in itself, right?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, I love that because what tends to happen is we don't recognize that we're s we're being showed what we need to work on
Mm.
internally, right? Because that's not talked about, like, ever.
Yeah.
It's not until you're tired of being miserable or tired of your situation when you start to go seek something, and then you happen upon personal development, and then, of course, all books mention other books. That's how at least that's how mine started.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
started one book, and it was like, "And in this book, such and such said this," and I'm like, "That's my next book." So that's how that started, but it's just it's not something that it's not a typical conversation that I've seen, at least not in the end, of course, and with my clients, like it's not a conversation that they've experienced at a young age. And I was just talking to a young lady recently about some challenges she's been through, and I'm like, they have several kids, and I don't have any, but I was like, I love y'all, but I'm all for supporting the parents, and it's like if we can get this messages to your children as early as possible, it will just super like charge their life as they get older as an adults because we're not going to not go through stuff. It's just how do you deal with it when you get there, right? Like what
Yeah.
tools do you have that you can use to help you get through, grow through your things. And that's something that I feel like, um, I know we're on a different conversation at this point, but that's something I feel like doesn't really get honed in as at a young age, right? Like
Hmm.
you
I
just
know.
you
I
just
think I just had the most amazing week with Josh, and he just turned 21, and he's we pour in and pour in and pour in, and he gets it. Like he
Mhm.
gets it. And I'm like, oh, what I wouldn't have done if I was knew all this at 21. You know what I mean? Like, of course, everything in divine timing,
Yeah,
but what I wouldn't have done, where would I be now if I knew that back then?
yeah,
Or when you were, 13 or 17. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
the more that I think, like, the more that we share, especially to a young child about just being in love with yourself. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you drive. It doesn't matter how your hair's styled or if you have a Gucci handbag. It doesn't matter because all of that is external stuff. When you have a heart that's beaming love to each and every person that you surround yourself with, that's what matters. That's
yeah,
all that matters, right?
yeah, yeah. It it's hard to explain the feeling, right? Like
Mm,
it's one of those things that you gotta be there or you gotta actually experience it for yourself, and it's
mm-hmm.
'cause it's too hard to put into words. I
Yeah.
have because I've experienced that feeling, but I still have my days where I'm like, I just wanna put the covers back over my head
Yeah.
because I'm human.
Yeah.
Um, but it's again, it's like, where do you go from there with that? But so back on unworthiness. Other ways it has shown up, several ways it's shown up, not leaving relationships, not allowing yourself to indulge or enjoy things,
Mm.
right? Like, when's the last time you spent the day just being happy where you are, right? I've like
Mm-hmm.
always looking for the next best thing, or just not recognizing. I'm at a loss for words. Just not recognizing what you have, I guess.
Just being in the moment, yeah, right?
Yeah,
We're always seeking for, like you said, the next best thing.
yeah,
When in my mind, like the way I see it is I will never attract the next best thing if I don't appreciate what I have right now and where I'm at in this moment.
yeah.
In this moment,
I love that.
right?
Yeah,
Just that lesson of being.
yeah,
Just being,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
And
beautiful. I was standing outside before our get together today, and I took off my slippers, and the sun is shining, and I had my feet in the grass, and people were walking their dogs by me, and I was just looking at the sun and just being so thankful that I can feel the sun and that I
yeah,
can breathe every magical breath, and it smells so fresh and good outside. Like all these little things that we take for granted because we're go 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 do be. We're so busy
mhm,
we can't even appreciate the beauty around us when we take that moment to just be in the moment.
yeah. And
Mm,
when you sit long enough to be,
mhm.
do you feel like you deserve to just sit and be?
Right?
That is, I think that's where a lot of the challenge is too, especially here in the US. I don't know so much about Canada, but like if you're resting, you're lazy.
Right. Right?
Yeah. And how
Whoever came up with that.
I don't know. I don't remember voting on that one.
No.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
I don't remember who said this, but they were like, don't just do something, sit there.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So after this call, I got my pull out the hammock, and I will go sit on there. Ladybug loves sitting on the hammock with me outside on the front porch. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
just I'm gonna not go do something. I'm gonna just sit there for a little bit.
Yeah. Take
But
time to make time for you.
yeah, it is. You know what? What came to mind just now too? Like when you do that, it's a little message to yourself that you are worth it.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And anytime, so if you find yourself struggling to allow yourself things,
Mm,
doing little things like that slowly like builds that muscle, that I'm worth it muscle. I'm worthy of this muscle. Like
mm,
it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, just simple moments of self-appreciation
mm,
will help build that muscle.
mhm. I like, I'm a question person. Well,
Sure.
I'm questioning my thoughts, like
Sure,
where the
sure.
heck did that come from, and what the heck does that even mean? And that's not even mine. And who does that belong to? I literally, when I say I have hamster brain, like they're rolling. And so now I'm like, it's quite beautiful because everything always used to be like I can buy that, or I can have that, or I can go there. But now it's more, I don't know, like it just, even since this last couple of years, things shifted. Before we used to have so much stuff and we were able to afford so much stuff but didn't appreciate that stuff. And
Mhm,
again, what you have is what you're worth, what you do is what you're worth, who
mhm,
you, all those stories
mhm,
we carried around. And then I think one of the best parts of my life was getting rid of all the stuff.
mhm,
And it felt so free to just be without stuff. So
mhm,
now it's more, for me, it's like I'm worth going for a 2-hour walk. I'm
mhm,
worth taking 30 minutes out of my day to do yoga.
mhm,
I'm worth sitting there listening to a song over and
mhm,
over and over again. Why? Because I can. So it's
mhm.
more like a,
Experience.
yeah. Yeah, because that's what life is about. It's about
Mhm.
making memories and creating amazing experiences. Like, what are we
Mhm.
doing? It's not about buying stuff. It's not about giving stuff. It's about time. Time is something we can't give back.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, it was a huge shift in my life. I'll take 30 minutes with you rather than, a new car kind of thing. It's
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
material stuff doesn't matter anymore. It's all about what fills your heart with love.
Yeah.
What fills your life with joy and happiness? Because we have this one life. We get to choose to live it every single day,
Mhm.
or we get to choose to struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what I like about that, like, not to say that a car can't make you happy, but it
Mhm.
can't be the source of your happiness, right? Like, it
Right.
needs to come from internally. Um,
Yes.
Otherwise, you're again always looking for the next best thing, and you are definitely worth the internal happiness that can occur in your life.
Right.
It's just how
Yeah.
what you do to get there.
I
Um,
know. So, like, yeah, so many people, when I get this job, I'll be happy. When I win this money, I'll be happy. When I have this house, I'll be no. Happy, you got to be happy first, and then you'll get all those things that you want.
yeah, yeah, because those things vibrate high, and you have to
Right?
vibrate high to attract them.
Yeah, yeah.
If you are watching us live, feel free to put some comments in the comment box. We will be happy to respond. Let me make sure. You know what? Oh, that's if I want it on the screen. I'm learning new stuff. So if someone were to comment right now, then it will show up on the screen.
It'll pop up on the screen.
Yeah, don't need to do that. But yeah, hopefully that I have the comment box because I have no way of checking that. So hopefully people can. If you're making comments and I'm not responding, it's because I don't see it. So that's my bad. Let me just pull it up. I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, yeah, comment box is visible. Just want to make sure. But yeah, so the inner the worthiness has to come from inside, right? Like, um, you have to decide that you are, and you sometimes, especially if it's something you've been struggling with, you literally have to decide that every day, and
Mhm,
sometimes throughout the day.
mhm,
You have to remind yourself, like Casey's affirmation this past week, I choose to believe I am worthy of the things I seek, or something to that
mm,
effect. And so that's the fact that I love that she used the word I choose, or the phrase I
mhm.
choose, because you have to choose it every day if you
That's right.
really want to shift the way you feel about things. Um, and I know people are like, affirmations don't work. That's why I write mine so that you can't argue. It's
Mhm,
empowering, right? It's so that you either decide to do something or you don't.
mhm.
So I try to make it so that your subconscious doesn't argue with you. We're
Well,
here.
and it's so beautiful too because I honestly believe that everything works if you work it,
Mhm.
right? So if you have the energy of or the thoughts behind affirmations don't work, then it's probably not going to work for you.
Yeah.
But it's the same with gratitude. Like for me, for my working on my worthiness, gratitude was like probably one of the top things that help me see that, okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
do deserve that. And I am good enough for that. And I am pretty enough for that. And I am smart enough for that. And I am appreciating myself for that. And you know what I mean? Like it's such a shift in your mind.
Yeah.
But again, same. If I kept telling the story that this doesn't work, no, that's for her, that's not for me.
Mhm.
Thoughts, words, like I'm a word Grace, they come true.
Yeah.
So, and if you want to shift something in your life, especially your worthiness, it all starts inside in the way you think and talk to yourself first
Yeah.
and foremost, right? That's why I went into questions like,
Mhm.
who said that? And it's almost like I always joke that I have 3 different personalities. And it's like I really did. Like, where is this coming from? And why do I even believe this? Or do I believe it?
Yeah.
Right? Digging deep and finding out, is this just something that I've said all my life, or do I actually really believe this?
Yeah.
right? And it's beautiful to see what comes up and no, right?
Delete.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Not enough people recognize that they don't have to continue doing what they were taught when they were younger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Flip the
Um,
script.
yeah, it's just
Mhm.
like, so your values and all those things that you received when you were younger, evaluate them from time to time, question your
Yeah.
beliefs. Like, I love questioning your beliefs. Like, does this still serve me?
Mhm.
If not, delete it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no rule book that says you got to continue with that. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. And just like you said about case affirmation, you choose every single day.
mhm,
Every day you can choose to be negative or positive, happy or sad, miserable or joyful. Like you choose. You
mhm,
choose what you focus on. You
mhm.
choose. We
Yep.
get to choose. What a beautiful word. We get to choose every single day to become who we want to be.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah. Me too. And what's beautiful about that is either direction builds a highway in your brain on
Mhm,
which everything else will travel, right?
mhm,
That your lens of how you perceive things. So if you have currently a negative highway, you can
mhm,
literally diminish that by
mhm,
intentionally focusing on what you're grateful for, reminding yourself that you are worthy of whatever it is that you want. Because
mhm.
once you decide that, like my poem, you know me and my poem, I've been writing a lot of
Yeah.
poems. Once you decide that, your subconscious, the universe, everything will conspire to help you figure out how to make it happen.
Mhm.
And I know what's challenging about believing that is we're taught that we have to work so hard to do stuff.
Right.
When it really is just really, truly believing and being open to receiving the messages that will guide you towards whatever that is.
Mhm.
And then trusting that you're worthy to have whatever that is.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've experienced, like I've gotten like the resources on how to make something happen, and then I, like, shy away. I've done that. I've shied away, like, and
Many
that's
times,
how.
Nick.
Yeah. So, it's deciding that you're worthy anyway, despite what your subconscious is trying to tell you, just fight back, and
Yeah.
then eventually it'll get on board. Just
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
walking. God.
Detour.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, it's not about what happens, it's about how you respond to it,
Right?
right?
Any day and any moment in any day you can change. And
Mhm.
just every circumstance in your life, you can change it.
And you know what that brought up for me just now? It used to be for me, I would be afraid to change my mind, even if I felt like I wasn't going because the right way or whatever, because of, again, of people's perception of me. This is
Right.
a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
But like living for someone else or living
Right.
because you have what you think people think of you. Like I hadn't even asked what I never asked them what they thought of me. I just assumed I knew what they thought of me and I had to keep that in my head.
Right.
So it's crazy the mind what it can do.
Yeah. Get out of your head. Get out of your head and into your heart for sure.
Absolutely. So
The games we play.
I know. And it's so sneaky. It's like
Yeah.
it feels like it's legitimate protection for like your heart and your psyche and all that. And nah, son, if you're feeling like crap, it's not protection.
No.
That's sabotage.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, but I don't know if I fully stayed on the unworthiness topic, but I imagine that this conversation, uh, will serve in some way because
Right?
nothing happens by mistake.
That's the beauty of just flowing
Mhm,
into conversation because our minds go so many different places, right?
mhm, mhm.
And I think it is. It's divine timing and everything that comes out for a reason. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. I think everything we talked about had to do with worthiness.
In some way, some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much at time. Like I don't even know how that is even a thing.
Right?
Um, those of you watching live, if you have any comments, feel free to put in the comment box. Um, any last thoughts, feel free to put that in there. But before we close out the day, Robin, any last thoughts? And if you are taking on clients, feel free to share that as well. I'd love to. Yeah.
I think any last thoughts? Um, don't be so hard on yourself.
Mhm.
You're doing the best you can with who you are in this moment. If we can choose to live in this moment, you know, so many people live in the past or are waiting for the future instead of just appreciating where you are in this moment. Example yesterday, actually, it's funny that we're talking about this. I just said to my girlfriend yesterday, I don't appreciate how far I've come. Woohoo! Blessing you.
Thank you.
Or where I am in this moment because I'm starting to eat healthier, make better choices, get some exercise in. And yesterday I put on these pants that were really tight not long ago, and now they're baggy. And I literally came out and I said, oh my God. I need to start appreciating how far I've come, where I am in this moment, and just keep being here instead of, no, I want to be there, or, oh, I look what I did back then. No, just appreciate who you are. You're perfect in all your imperfections and just love you because there's only one you.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you decide to dream about, believe, just know that you're worthy.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Yeah. You're worth it. You're worth greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are greatness, and the
You
world needs
are
to see it.
greatness. Yes.
Yeah. Please be it.
Yeah.
Recognize it. Get into the know of it.
Yes.
KNOW. Um, I love that last thought. Thank you.
Mm.
And mine would be, I was kind of bouncing off of something you said, but Ladybug came in here and started saying something, so she kind of distracted me a little bit. Um, keep building the new highway in your brain. You're
Mm,
literally rewiring your brain when you're going from I'm not enough to I'm enough. It's
mm,
and what I've found with people, and I've gone through this, and which is why I love when people say it to me. They're like, it's so hard. I keep having to, I'm like, yeah, because you're literally building a whole new pathway in your brain. You're
mhm,
literally rewiring your brain. You're changing your body chemistry. It's not going to be an overnight thing. So don't feel like a failure when you have to keep reminding yourself that you are
mhm,
the shit.
mhm,
Because I kept feeling, I'm like, why is this so hard? Why do I keep reverting back? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Your body's current homeostasis, what it knows to be safe and normal for them, for it, is the negative path. So in order to overcome that path, that chemical makeup, you have to continually remind yourself that you are
mhm,
worth it and how amazing you are. And one of the best ways is through gratitude, like real gratitude, like really take your time and sit, like be grateful for the little things,
mm,
like the little things. Don't even, you got a car, great, but the car is running. Like
mm.
you can put gas
Yes.
in it. So just find little things to be grateful for and do that constantly. And that's a good way of building that new pathway in your brain,
Mhm,
and accept compliments with grace. Because people tend to see stuff that we don't see in ourselves, right? Because we tend to take ourselves for granted.
mhm,
So say thank you, and then maybe dig into that by yourself. Like, what was it that they see that I wasn't seeing?
mhm.
And just really appreciate yourself for that. So those are just some last thoughts I have on this worthiness train.
I love that, Nick.
Thank you. So, all right, we have gone a little over, but heck, somebody needed to hear what we had to say.
Right? My goodness, I feel like we could talk for, ever.
We can, which is why you will be back and we will have another conversation.
Yay, I can't wait.
Yes. So, and anyone watching live, we can have a conversation. If you want to join
Mhm,
sometime, just let me know. Just message me and we'll pop up on stage and we'll just have a conversation on one of the tips over tea um, days. So, all that said, I want to thank you all, those who've tuned in live, those who will tune in a little bit later. Thank you for your time. Because like we said, you can't get that back. So I always like to thank people. You
Mhm.
could spend it any other time, but you chose to hang out with us. So thank you for that. I honor that and respect that. And may you have the most magical rest of your day and rest of your week. And we'll see you back here next Sunday. It'll probably be live from Hoboken.
Oh, yay.
um, so that said, have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Robin, so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, everyone.
Much love, everyone.